They didn't just steal money. They stole my name, my reputation, my future, and they did it smiling. She walked into my business like a savior. Investment, partnership, sweet promises wrapped in expensive perfume and polished lies. And I believed her. Everyone did. In 2 months she drained the accounts, forged the contracts, transferred the assets, and left me drowning in debts I never created. People whispered, pointed fingers, called me a fool, a traitor to my own success. But ghosts don't stay quiet. I traced every fake invoice, every offshore trail, every step she hid behind her perfect image. And when I found the truth, I didn't run to the police. I went to the press. Now her flawless mask is cracking. Her empire is shaking. And soon the world will learn the core of my revenge. Some thieves steal money. Smarter ones steal trust. But the stupidest thieves are the ones who believe their victims will stay silent. My business was small, a boutique furniture studio I built with my own hands. Walnut tables, oak shelves, custom pieces for clients who wanted real craftsmanship. I worked late, slept in the workshop more times than I can count, and watched sawdust fall like snow while I dreamed bigger. Her name was Elise. Or at least that's what she said. She came in wearing confidence tailored sharper than her suit. Told me she loved my work. Told me she saw potential. Told me she had investors ready to scale my business into a national brand. Looking back, the red flags were everywhere. But hope is a dangerous drug. And desperation is the perfect bait. I let her into my books. She cleaned up accounting. Hired a legal team. Opened a new account for expansion funds. 3 signatures later, everything I owned wasn't mine anymore. My landlord changed locks. My tools were seized as assets under investigation. Clients ghosted me. My phone buzzed with messages, none supportive. You don't forget a moment like that. Standing outside your business at dawn, coffee in hand, thinking you're early, when you've already been replaced. I didn't shout. I didn't break down. I just stood there watching workers change the sign on my workshop, while Elise smiled in the doorway as if she'd earned it. Her last words to me that day? Business is survival. You weren't built for this level. She turned her back and walked inside. That sentence stayed in my head like a rusty nail. People say revenge consumes a man. But they forget something simpler. Falling apart is the real danger. I didn't fall. For 3 weeks, I slept on a friend's couch and drank cheap coffee at a 24-hour diner while I collected data like a surgeon preparing for a delicate operation. Every charge. Every shell company. Every suspicious payment. Every employee she brought in from previous projects. Was a pattern. A perfect fraud loop. She'd done this before, just small enough each time to avoid noise, just polished enough to look legitimate. I wasn't her first victim, but I would be her last. The night I found the offshore trail, the fake consulting firm pulling monthly advisory fees from my business, I didn't feel anger. I felt clarity. People like her don't fear prison. They fear exposure. So I drafted an email. A simple one. Subject: Story lead, corporate integrity fraud pattern. Attached, 37 pages of evidence. CC, 3 investigative reporters known for eating sharks like her alive. One replied in 20 minutes. We need to meet. The journalist's name was Carter. Hard eyes. No patience. The kind of man who spoke in hard sentences, like every word was a blade he sharpened before saying. He listened. He asked questions like a prosecutor. He didn't offer sympathy. Good. I didn't need it. When he finished scanning my files, he closed the laptop. She built her reputation on philanthropy and women in business programs, he said. If what you're saying is true, this will explode. It's true, I answered. He studied me. Why not go to the authorities first? I didn't hesitate. Because they'll bury it. She has lawyers, friends, money. But the public doesn't protect fraud. He nodded once. Decision made. Give me 72 hours. In 72 hours, the first article dropped. Headline: Rising business icon linked to fraud pattern, former partner speaks. My name wasn't mentioned. Not yet. I was the anonymous victim. The piece focused on her suspicious financial footprint. It didn't accuse, it suggested, questioned, hinted. The comment section was small at first. A few doubters. A few diehard supporters of hers. Normal. But then former associates stepped in. One comment. Then another. Then emails started hitting Carter's inbox faster than he could open them. She had burned more people than she ever realized. By day 3, her Instagram was silent. By day 4, her office issued a statement calling the allegations baseless. By day 5 she deleted several posts. A sign of guilt? Or fear? Didn't matter. The wheel was turning. And I was not finished. Most people attack fast when they're angry. I went slow. I attended networking events she once ruled. Fake smile, borrowed blazer, hands in pockets, listening to the speaker. I didn't approach anyone. I didn't need to. Whispers spread faster than fire in a dry field. Did you see that article? Is she really under investigation? What if she lied to investors? Reputation is oxygen in business. I didn't set fire to her empire. I just took away the air. Then I made my next move. I walked into a bank, my old bank, with printed proof of forgery. The same manager who smiled at her as she stole everything from me now stared at signatures that didn't match, contracts that contradicted each other, wire trails leading to tax havens. His face went pale. "Why are you showing me this?" he asked. "Because you approved every transfer. You vouched for her." Silence. Heavy. Threatening. "I didn't come here to fight," I said. "I came to see what you'll do when the full story breaks." His jaw tightened. Fear. Not of me, of fallout. "Give us time," he said quietly. I already did. Outside the bank, wind cut through my jacket. I felt nothing. No satisfaction. No excitement. Just focus. Revenge isn't rage. It's precision. And I still had one more call to make, to someone who trusted her more than anyone else. Her mentor. Her public sponsor. The business icon she worshipped, whose foundation funded her rise. He picked up. Calm voice. Powerful presence even through the phone. I told him everything. I emailed proof. There was a pause, long, cold, decisive. "We do not stand with fraud," he said. "Leave the rest to me." I didn't thank him. I didn't need to. War was already in motion. And Elise had no idea it was me behind it. Yet. 3 days after my call to her mentor, the storm truly began. Not loud. Not sudden. Slow. Controlled. Surgical. A leaked memo. A temporary suspension pending review. Her face disappearing from event banners and business forums. Silence is the loudest downfall. I watched online as comments flipped. The same people who praised her success now dissected every photo, every quote, every staged charity post. She always seemed too polished. I heard she screwed someone over once. I knew something was off. Funny how truth doesn't need to shout, it just needs time. But Elise still didn't know it was me. And that fact mattered because revenge isn't just about justice. It's about control. About timing. About choosing the moment your enemy finally understands who dismantled their kingdom piece by piece. That moment wasn't yet. The first crack in her facade became public when the investors' board issued a statement. Effective immediately, Elise Marlowe is placed on indefinite leave pending investigation into alleged financial misconduct. She went dark. No posts. No press photos. No motivational quotes about female empowerment and ethical entrepreneurship. Not a sound. But predators don't vanish. They stalk, regroup, and strike when cornered. So I prepared. I rented a small studio. Nothing like my old workshop. Concrete walls, cheap tools, second-hand equipment. Humble. Temporary. Safe. Every night I sat in silence, planning the final act. Evidence folders. Contact lists. Printouts with circles and arrows like a detective corkboard. I didn't care about money anymore. Not then. I cared about truth. And truth was almost ready. Then she called me. A known number. I nearly ignored it, until instinct whispered. I answered. Her voice was smooth as ever, but brittle around the edges. "You think you're clever," she said. I didn't react. Silence is power. "You could have come to me," she continued. "We could have negotiated. Fix this quietly." I pictured her in some luxury condo, pacing in silk pajamas, glass of imported wine shaking in her hand. "Quiet fixes are for misunderstandings," I said. This was theft. A breath. Sure. Annoyed. She hated losing control. "You don't know who you're dealing with," she whispered. "I do," I replied. "A fraud with expensive shoes." A dangerous pause. Then she laughed, but there was no confidence in it. Only fear disguised as arrogance. "You've ruined everything," she hissed. "And for what? Ego?" "No," I said. "Memory. So no one forgets what you really are." Click. She hung up. Good. Let her feel it. The next morning she made her move. A lawyer emailed me, aggressive tone, empty threats. Defamation. Unauthorized disclosure. Cease and desist. Classic intimidation. But they made one mistake, they assumed I was alone. Carter published a second article that afternoon. Not hints anymore. Facts. Witnesses. Leaked bank statements. Testimonies from 2 former partners she burned years ago. Front page of 3 business sites. Trending topic on social media. This time, her name wasn't merely questioned. It was exposed. She tried to counter. Posted a shaky video, staged humility, soft lighting, tearful eyes. I'm being unfairly targeted. Women in business face attacks every day, malicious lies. The comments destroyed her. Where's the proof? Why did 3 people say the same thing? You stole from victims and now you're playing victim? Her strategy backfired like a gun pointed the wrong way. And I still hadn't revealed myself. The final blow came unexpectedly, not from me but from someone else. Her mentor held a press conference. Stood at a podium, surrounded by cameras, and cut her off publicly like a surgeon removing a tumor. We do not tolerate misconduct. We have launched an internal audit and terminated all collaborations with Ms. Marlowe. No warmth. No sympathy. Just cold execution. Her empire collapsed in one sentence. I didn't celebrate. Just watched. Quiet victories feel heavier than loud ones. That night, she showed up at my studio. I heard heels on concrete before I saw her. She stepped into the dim light like a ghost wearing designer anger. You wanted to break me? She whispered. No, I replied. I wanted you to face truth. She looked around, bare walls, scattered tools, sawdust on the floor. This is what you choose over wealth? She asked. I stepped closer, not threatening, just clear. I didn't choose to lose everything. But I chose what came next. You chose lies. Her jaw trembled. First time I'd ever seen her fragile. You think people care about truth? She muttered. This world rewards power, not honesty. Maybe, I said. But today truth won. She stared at me, anger, disbelief, humiliation twisting behind her eyes. This isn't over, she whispered. I rebuild. I always rebuild. I shook my head. Not this time. Because now every door you knock on will remember this. She didn't reply. She just left, heels echoing like a dying heartbeat. When the door shut, I didn't feel triumph. Just air in my lungs again. Revenge isn't joy. It's release. I sat on the cold floor and breathed. No applause. No fireworks. Just peace. She stole my business once. I took her future forever. Balance restored. Peace is a strange feeling when you've lived in fire. For weeks, adrenaline had been my breakfast, suspicion my sleep. Revenge sharpens a man, but peace forces him to face what's left when the blade is sheathed. After Elise walked out of my studio, there were no cheers, no headlines screaming victory. Only quiet, the kind you hear after a storm levels a field. It isn't happiness. It's clarity. A clean battlefield. The next morning my phone buzzed nonstop. Carter sent a message first. Her legal team backed off. They know it's over. We did it. A simple word. Strange how support arrives only after you bleed first. Then emails from old clients rolled in, cautious, testing the water. We saw everything, unfair what happened. If you ever rebuild? Some added apologies. Most didn't. People love redemption arcs, as long as they don't have to admit they judged you too easily. I replied to none of them. Not yet. But not everyone stayed silent. A man I didn't recognize came to the studio one afternoon. Mid-50s. Hands that have signed more deals than handshakes. My name is Harding, he said. I was one of her investors. I didn't offer a seat. He continued anyway. We trusted her. Big mistake. But you're dangerous in a different way. How so? I asked. You fight clean, he said. It's rare. Men who destroy without poison, that scares the powerful. I waited. He reached into his briefcase, placed a folder on my bench. What's this? A chance to rebuild, he said. Real partnership. Real capital. Your work speaks for itself, now your story does too. I looked at the folder but didn't touch it. He added softly. Don't let one predator turn you into a ghost. The world needs builders more than it needs avengers. He left. I didn't open the folder that day. But I didn't throw it out either. Elise disappeared from headlines within a week. Scandals burn bright but brief. The world needs new villains every day. But in the echoes she still screamed. Every time her name was searched, the articles appeared. Every investor now saw warning signs. Every new partner Googled her history before shaking hands. She said she'd rebuild. Maybe she will try. But every foundation she lays now carries a crack. might crack, and cracks grow. Justice isn't about ending someone. Justice is about consequences that follow them like a shadow too heavy to step out of. One evening I returned to my workshop, the old one. The building was empty now. Lights off. For lease sign in the window. Ghost of my former life sitting behind dusty glass. I stood outside, same place I once stood watching my future stolen. Different feeling this time. Not loss. Not hate. Just distance, like looking at a memory through a window in time. A security guard approached, flashlight swaying. "Can I help you?" "Just remembering," I said. He nodded. Didn't pry. "Place had good people once," he muttered. "Shame what happened." It was the closest thing to acknowledgement I ever got from a stranger. Sometimes that's enough. I returned to my studio, the small one, and sat at my workbench. Tools scattered, wood untouched for weeks. Hands that once carved beauty had been carving justice. I picked up a chisel. Thought about the journey. You don't rebuild by forgetting. You rebuild by remembering who you were before they tried to rewrite you. I started smoothing a plank. Slow strokes, steady breathing, muscle memory returning like an old friend knocking. Not for clients. Not for profit. For me. Wood doesn't lie. Hands don't deceive. Work is truth. And truth is what saved me. Later that night, my phone buzzed again. Unknown number. I stared at it a long moment before answering. Silence on the other end. Then breathing. "Elise," I said. A quiet exhale, defeat dressed in pride. "You got what you wanted," she whispered, voice almost dull. "No," I replied. "I got what was fair." Long pause. "You think this makes you a hero?" "No. Heroes save people." I avenged myself. Another breath, shaky. Was it worth it? I looked at my hands, steady now, not trembling with rage or exhaustion. Yes. She hung up. I set the phone down gently. Sometimes closure isn't a door slamming. Sometimes it's simply the sound of someone realizing you were the wrong person to betray. Weeks passed. I rebuilt slowly. A small roster of clients, handpicked. Projects that mattered, not just paid. Carter visited once, not as a journalist but as a man curious about peace after war. "You going to expand again?" he asked. "Eventually," I said. "This time on my terms." He nodded. "Just promise one thing," he said. "What?" "If someone like her crosses your path again, you don't go quiet." "I won't." He left with a smile only someone who trusts truth can give. Some days I still walk past tall glass buildings full of polished liars and clean-shaved frauds. Some days I feel the old fire rising, the hunger to expose them all. But revenge is not a lifestyle. It's a correction. A man cannot live in the moment he wins. He must live in who he becomes afterward. And me? I became the one thing she never expected. Not broken. Not bitter. Better. Because when you take everything from a man and he still stands, he learns the most dangerous truth in the world. I don't need power to win. I only need truth and patience. And if anyone ever tries to take what's mine again, I won't disappear. I will rise. Just like I did this time.